The lights of Sunday Night Football shone on SoFi Stadium, casting a dazzling glow over the heart of Los Angeles. The stadium, a modern marvel, buzzed with anticipation as fans from across the country poured in, ready for a night that promised drama and intensity. But as the seats filled, it quickly became clear. This didn't feel like a typical Chargers home game. Instead, the sea of black and gold overwhelmed the blue and gold, making it feel as if the Steelers had brought Heinz Field to the West Coast. Black and gold dominated the stands, terrible towels spinning in a synchronized wave, as Steelers Nation turned Los Angeles into a Western Pennsylvania reunion. The chants, the cheers, and the unmistakable energy of Pittsburgh fans echoed through the stadium, creating a home-away-from-home atmosphere. The energy was electric, almost tangible, with playoff implications hanging in the balance for both teams. Every play was met with thunderous applause or anxious gasps, as fans knew what was at stake. The Steelers, leading the AFC North, looked to prove their mettle and solidify their playoff hopes. The Chargers, chasing the Broncos in a tight division race, aimed to extend their winning streak and keep their postseason dreams alive. It was a classic clash of styles, Pittsburgh's gritty, hard-nosed defense versus the Chargers' high-powered, fast-paced attack. Every snap promised fireworks, with both teams determined to impose their will. Pre-game storylines buzzed throughout the stadium. Andrus Peat's first start at left guard brought intrigue to the trenches, as fans and analysts wondered how he'd handle the pressure under the primetime lights. And then, there was the quarterback duel. The legendary 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, still sharp and determined, ready to prove he could outsmart any defense. On the other side, the young and dynamic Justin Herbert, eager to showcase his arm and poise on one of the NFL's biggest stages, looked to lead his team to victory. Could the veteran outwit the rising star? Would experience or youth prevail? The answer would unfold under the primetime lights, with millions watching across the nation. As the opening kickoff soared high into the night sky, the stadium erupted, a collision of two passionate fan bases and two teams with everything to play for. The roar was deafening, the stakes unmistakable. The Chargers may have had the home locker room, but the Steelers had the crowd, their voices echoing with every big play and every defensive stand. This was more than just a football game. It was a territorial battle on SoFi's pristine turf, a test of pride and resilience for both teams and their loyal supporters. Every yard would be earned, every moment magnified by a crowd that turned LA into Pittsburgh for one unforgettable night. A true tale of two cities, written under the stadium lights. The game opened as a defensive slugfest, physical, grinding, and relentless. From the very first snap, it was clear that both teams came prepared for a war in the trenches, with every yard fiercely contested and every play met with resistance. The Steelers' offense stumbled early, flagged for a false start, while the Chargers' defense swarmed Aaron Rodgers. The pocket collapsed around him, forcing hurried throws and disrupting any sense of rhythm the Steelers hoped to establish. On the other side, T.J. Watt and the Steelers' defense rattled Justin Herbert, disrupting the Chargers' rhythm. Herbert found himself under constant duress, with the Steelers' pass rushers breaking through the line and forcing him to make quick decisions. Defensive coordinators on both sidelines barked out adjustments, and players responded with intensity, shifting formations and reading the offense's every move. Both teams struggled to move the ball, trading punts as defensive lines dominated. Each possession felt like a battle for inches, with neither side able to break through for a big gain. The first quarter saw just 85 total yards and 4 first downs combined, a throwback to smash-mouth football. It was a reminder of old-school gridiron battles, where every play was a test of willpower and toughness. Every completed pass was hard-earned, every run met by a wall of defenders. Receivers braced for contact, and running backs fought for every extra inch, often swallowed up by a sea of jerseys. Joey Porter Jr. dropped a would-be interception, a missed chance for Pittsburgh. The ball slipped through his hands, a moment that could have shifted momentum early in the game. Khalil Mack and the Chargers' front kept Rodgers under constant pressure. Every snap, Rodgers had to scan for defenders closing in, rarely finding time to set his feet and deliver a clean throw. Field position became a chess match, punters and special teams under the spotlight. Coaches strategized every kick, knowing that a single mistake could tip the balance in such a tight contest. The crowd buzzed with tense anticipation, waiting for a breakthrough. Every third down brought a collective gasp, as fans sensed the importance of each play in a game where points were at a premium. This wasn't the shootout many expected. It was a gritty battle in the trenches. Mud and sweat marked the field, and the struggle for control was evident in every snap. The first quarter ended in a slow, methodical grind. Players trudged off the field, already showing signs of fatigue from the relentless physicality. The stage was set for a game where mistakes would be costly, and every decision could swing the outcome. As the teams regrouped, it was clear that this contest would be decided by grit, discipline, and the ability to capitalize on the smallest of opportunities. The first points of the night came in spectacular fashion, as Chris Boswell lined up for a daunting 59-yard field goal. With the crowd holding its breath, Boswell launched the ball with a booming kick that sailed through the uprights, electrifying the Steelers fans and sending a jolt of energy through the stadium. It was a statement kick, the kind that sets the tone early and gives the home team a surge of confidence. But just as the Steelers seemed to seize control, disaster struck on the very next possession. Khalil Mack, the Chargers' relentless pass rusher, broke through the offensive line with explosive speed, closing in on Rodgers near his own goal line. Mack's perfectly timed hit jarred the ball loose, and chaos erupted as players scrambled for the fumble. Rodgers managed to recover the ball, but he did so in the end zone, resulting in a costly safety. The Chargers were on the board, and the Steelers' lead was suddenly cut to a razor-thin 3-2 margin. The momentum shifted instantly. Chargers fans erupted in celebration, their team energized by the sudden turn of events. The stadium atmosphere changed, with the Chargers' sideline coming alive and the crowd sensing a new opportunity. Rodgers, visibly frustrated after the rare mistake, paced the sideline and conferred with his coaches, knowing how quickly the complexion of the game had shifted. The Steelers' offense needed to regroup and respond. On the next drive, Rodgers showed his resilience, connecting with Darnell Washington for a tough 15-yard gain under heavy pressure. The play was a much-needed spark, helping to steady the offense and restore some confidence. That momentum carried Pittsburgh into Chargers territory as the first quarter wound down, the offense finding its rhythm again. The Steelers were threatening, looking to extend their slim lead before the quarter ended. But the tone of the game had undeniably changed. The earlier excitement from Boswell's field goal was now mixed with tension, as both teams realized how quickly fortunes could shift. In a matter of minutes, the Steelers went from celebrating a long-range field goal to reeling from a self-inflicted wound. The Chargers' defense, meanwhile, huddled with renewed confidence after their big play. The first quarter closed with Pittsburgh threatening to score again, but the Chargers' defense had already made its presence felt, setting the stage for a hard-fought battle. The wild, unpredictable opening quarter left both teams and fans on edge, setting the stage for a tense and dramatic second quarter to come. The Steelers opened the second quarter in scoring range, but stalled and settled for a 45-yard field goal attempt. Boswell, fresh off a 59-yarder, missed, ending his streak and deflating the team. The Chargers seized the momentum, with Herbert orchestrating a methodical drive. Rookie laddmcconkey's 16-yard catch moved them deep into Steelers territory. Cameron Dicker nailed a 32-yard field goal, giving the Chargers their first lead, 5-3. The Steelers' promising start had unraveled in minutes. Both offenses continued to struggle, trading blows with tough defenses. Rodgers found DK Metcalf for a 19-yard gain, but the drive fizzled. The game settled back into a defensive struggle, every inch contested. As halftime approached, the score remained a bizarre 5-3. Defense, special teams miscues, and missed chances defined the half. The tension in SoFi Stadium was palpable. Midway through the second quarter, the Steelers seemed poised to break through. Rodgers hit Jonnu Smith for a diving catch near the Chargers' 10, setting up first and goal, until Jim Harbaugh challenged. Replay showed the ball shifting. The call was overturned, incomplete. The Steelers' drive stalled, forced to punt instead of scoring. The reversal was a gut punch, erasing a potential game-changing play. Pittsburgh's offense couldn't recover, and another opportunity slipped away. The sequence summed up the Steelers' frustrating first half, moving the ball, but failing to capitalize. Instead of a possible 10-5 lead, they were left lamenting what could have been. The overturned catch became the defining moment of the half. The Chargers clung to their slim lead, the stadium buzzing with debate. It was a brutal reversal that kept the game tight. The game's physicality took its toll, with key injuries on both sides. Steelers veteran Darius Slay left after a helmet-to-helmet collision. heading to the locker room for a concussion check. His absence forced Pittsburgh's young corners into action against a talented Chargers receiving corps. The Chargers had their own scare. T.J. Watt sacked Herbert, who limped off and had both ankles taped. Herbert stayed in, but his mobility was clearly limited. Both teams now faced the prospect of playing without a star at a critical position. The injuries added another layer of drama to an already tense contest. Adjustments would be crucial as the game wore on. The unforgiving nature of football was on full display. The first half was a study in quarterback contrasts. Aaron Rodgers, at 41, showed veteran poise despite a struggling offense and relentless pressure. He managed the game, avoided further turnovers, and kept the Steelers in it with smart, timely throws. Rodgers' leadership steadied Pittsburgh, even as their offense sputtered. On the other side, Justin Herbert started slow, disrupted by the Steelers' defense. Herbert, usually prolific, was held in check early, but found his rhythm after the Steelers' missed field goal. He led the drive for the Chargers' go-ahead field goal, showing resilience despite taking a hard sack and playing on taped ankles. Both quarterbacks battled adversity, Rodgers with experience, Herbert with grit. The first half was less about stats and more about survival. Each QB kept his team afloat in a defensive struggle. Their contrasting styles shaped the game's tense narrative. The second half promised more drama from both signal callers. This game carried playoff intensity, with both teams fighting for position in a crowded AFC race. The Steelers, at 5-3, needed a win to maintain their division lead over Baltimore. A loss would tighten the AFC North and hurt their conference standing. For the Chargers, 6-3 and chasing Denver, every win was crucial in a competitive AFC West. A victory would keep them in the wild-card hunt. A loss could drop them into a playoff scramble. The AFC landscape was a gauntlet, with every game magnified. Both teams faced a true test of identity in this gritty, low-scoring battle. As the half ended, the stakes for the rest of the season were clear. At halftime, the scoreboard read, Chargers 5, Steelers 3, a defensive war of attrition. Missed opportunities haunted Pittsburgh. Boswell's miss and the overturned catch loomed large. The Steelers needed to protect Rodgers and find a running game. Their defense couldn't carry the load alone. The Chargers' main concern was Herbert's health and their stagnant offense. Both teams had relied on defense, but more points would be needed to win. The second half would hinge on a few key moments. One mistake or one heroic play could decide it all. The tension was high, the outcome uncertain. The stage was set for a dramatic Sunday night finish.